Hello and welcome to all our viewers around the world. I'm Lynda Kinkade and this is CNN Newsroom. At this hour, growing uncertainty worldwide on the eve of what President Donald Trump is calling Liberation Day. The White House says Mr. Trump will unveil his tariff plan dubbed the Make America Wealthy Again event on Wednesday. And those tariffs will go into effect immediately. While the president told reporters he'd settled on a plan, such as which countries and industries will be targeted, the details are scarce.
I think this is going to be an amazing, I call it a lot of different names, but it's really, in a sense, it's a rebirth of a country because how we could have afforded to do what we did. We help everybody and they don't help us. The term I like best probably is the liberation of America. It's the liberation of this country.
The European Union says it has a strong plan to retaliate if necessary and would approach any negotiations from a position of strength. Well, markets once again very volatile. You can see they're quite mixed right now. I want to bring in CNN senior White House reporter Kevin Liptak, as well as Richard Quest, the host of Quest Means Business. Good to have you both with us. I want to start with you, Kevin. Around this time tomorrow, we will be gearing up for this announcement, what Donald Trump is calling Liberation Day and the rebirth of our country. At this point in time, these tariffs are not strategic. They're meant to be blanket tariffs. What more can you tell us? What are you learning?
I can't tell you much because we don't know much because the president doesn't seem to have actually finalized what he's planning to announce in the Rose Garden tomorrow. We heard from the press secretary about a couple hours ago who said he was still perfecting this plan with his advisors in the Oval Office. So despite the fact that the president says that he's settled on what exactly he plans to do, we don't think that he has actually settled on the precise details of this plan that he will announce in the Rose Garden. And it is true that these advisors that the president is talking to today come at this with very differing points of view. On the one hand, you have some of the hawks like Peter Navarro who have been talking about, for instance, a blanket tariff on all imports into the United States, perhaps as high as 20%. That would be the most extreme option that the president could potentially select from as he decides what he's planning to do. You also hear from advisors on the other end of the spectrum, like the chief economist Kevin Hassett, who has talked about these tariffs more as a true reciprocal tariff, essentially a dollar-for-dollar tariff on imports into the United States if a country applies duties on American imports. And so you have these varying points of view that the president will have to decide between before he steps into the Rose Garden at 4 p.m. tomorrow. What is clear is that the president is viewing this as a major moment for his presidency and as a moment politically as he looks to execute on some of what he promised voters on the campaign trail. Listen to more of what he said yesterday.
It's going to be something that's going to bring a lot of wealth back to our country, tremendous wealth back to our country, actually. And other countries are understanding it because they've been ripping us for 50 years. Longer, but they've been ripping us off for years, right from the beginning.
So I think the political stakes of this are enormous for the president, and I think one of the downsides for him is that the political pain could be felt immediately if Americans start paying higher prices for their goods. The political benefit, in his view, the realignment of global trade, will take much longer to take effect, if that is in fact what happens.
Yeah, if that is the long-term plan, or whether this is a negotiating tool, that is still a big question. Richard, I want to ask you about the actual event that Donald Trump is calling Make America Wealthy Again. Who in America will become wealthy as a result of blanket tariffs?
Well, arguably, the U.S. Treasury will become wealthy because they will be, you had the Internal Revenue Service, what he's calling the External Revenue Service. Money will start to flow into the U.S. government coffers from these higher tariffs. It is a straightforward line from the importer, well, the exporter or importer, whoever pays the tariff, they will pay it to Customs and Border Protection, and that will go straight into the U.S. Treasury. But look at what we've already got on the table. This is, on top of this, whatever we've already got 20% on China. We've already got steel and aluminium. We know that there's going to be 25% on autos. It is the range and depth and scale. But you ask who will be wealthy immediately, the US government will get the money, but it won't get as much as it thinks, and it certainly won't get enough to pay down the deficit or even pay for the tax cuts extension.
And just quickly, who will feel the most pain, Richard?
Oh, everyone. Everyone. Buy anything. Somebody's got to pay for it. This is what everyone keeps forgetting. Somebody has to pay for it. Whether it's the importer, the exporter, the warehouse distributor, the ultimate consumer, somebody has to pay for it. And if it's the consumer, it means it's money out their pocket. If it's the exporter or importer, it means lower profits. Somebody has to pay.
Exactly. Richard Quest, good to have you with us. Kevin Liptak, much appreciated. We will talk soon. Thank you.